Okay, so I did a video last week talking to you guys about the NBA ratings. The NBA ratings are at an all-time low. And it's probably several reasons why the NBA ratings are low as of right now, but I don't think they're the sole reason why the NBA ratings are down. And this comes at the eve of the NBA signing an exclusive deal with a lot of networks. The biggest deal in NBA history when it comes to TV, negotiating the TV rights. And these networks are not getting a great investment in their return with these dismal numbers of the NBA. So the NBA needs to fix this quick, fast, and in a hurry. And I have a lot of suggestions why what will turn this around. Now it's not going to turn it around overnight, but I think over a course of time, it will start turning around. Now, let's get into the misconceptions. Yes, the early part of the NBA, hardcore fans are not tuned in to the NBA games in the early part of the season. Yet we all know this, okay? Even casual fans, they'll dip, they'll come in every once in a while, but particularly when a marquee team or a marquee player is playing in the early part of the season, but 9 times out of 10, they're not coming at the beginning of the season. And this has been the common theme even from the beginning. Okay, that's why you hear a lot of people saying that the NBA should cut the games, shorten the season to like 42. A lot of people are not on the 82 game, which it was great in the 90s. It was great in the 80s. It's great in the 70s. But now here we are with the advancement of medication, technology, nutrition. Now these players can't even play 82 games. And you have LeBron James, and I'm not dumping all this huge load on LeBron James, but you have other NBA athletes saying the same thing, like we should shorten the season. We should shorten the season. You should shorten the season, but you still want to make that same massive contract. And there's a reason why you get in this massive contract because of your television deal and because of the fact that the NBA is an 82 game season. Okay, you start shrinking the numbers down to 40 or 42 or maybe 50, those massive contracts are not going to be equal to the amount of games that you are playing. Okay, the front offices are they're not going to go for it. The commissioner's not going to go for it. Nobody's not going to go for shortening the games. That's the last thing that they're will unwillingly do. Okay, so yes, that's a misconception. It's been from the beginning, but I don't think that's a huge reason why the NBA ratings are down, the TV ratings. Now, another thing that a lot of people are talking about is inside the NBA. Inside the NBA is not as impressive like it was in recent years. Now, we all know, we're all full aware that TNT does not have the rights to have NBA games on TNT. All right. And I did several videos of what's going to happen to inside the NBA. Now, to me, I feel like inside the NBA could go on without even showing live games. Okay. Now, as far as when it comes to the people that work at TNT that go on assignment to these games, I think their jobs would have been cut. But if you talk about inside the NBA show, you can still continue to do that show without having NBA games on the front or on the back end of inside the NBA. Okay, you can still fundamentally do that. Okay, I didn't think TNT was going to win this lawsuit with the NBA, and it comes out that I was right. Now, inside the NBA and TNT did ink a deal with ESPN, where inside the NBA will be playing on ESPN. It's not ESPN show. They're going to distribute it through TNT, which that's great for inside the NBA. It eliminates the speculation that Charles Barkley is probably going to have to go to another network, or Shaquille or Kenny Smith, whatever. They got Jalen Rose on inside the NBA. I think that's I didn't see that coming. No one saw that coming. Okay. But A lot of people are correlating inside the NBA. It's not as good as it was when it was on TNT. I don't think that's the reason why the NBA ratings are, you know, down. Okay. Now, I do feel like fundamentally, and we're going to break this down, I'm going to tell you how to fix it. I think the way they're playing the game has some correlation to the viewership and the ratings. You know, the NBA has turned into this 3 point contest. All right. They're just throwing threes. You know, you can live by the three, you can die by the three. And there's a lot of players, there's a lot of teams that are dying by the three. And the ratings are taking a huge hit because of that. Um, you know, in the beginning, when Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors, when they had their glory run and they was winning titles, and you know Steph Curry was popular, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, you know the list goes on and on and on. Kevin Durant when he went to the Golden State Warriors, the popularity of the three ball. And this is a copy and paste league. A lot of teams started copy and pasting what the Golden State Warriors are doing. Now with this negotiation, you can't have it's difficult. You can have three max contracts on your ball club, but you're not going to be able to have enough money to fill out the rest of your roster. Those days are long and gone with. No more super teams. The only way you're going to create a super team if you draft them. And if you look at the Oklahoma City Thunder, they did it the right way. If you look at the Houston Rockets, they did it the right way. You know, if you look at San Antonio Spurs, they're doing it the right way. There's a lot of teams out there that are doing it right now. Now, you can still technically sign players like the New York Knicks. You know, a lot of their players that are on the New York Knicks have been trades, okay, or have been free agent signings, okay. So there, you can still do it that way, but you're gonna have to finagle it a little bit. You're not gonna get the max contract, but you can have one max contract and some other huge contracts underneath it. There's multiple ways to skin a cat, sort of say. But I do feel like when you're talking about the NBA, they need to get rid of the three. I mean, I'm not get rid of the three, but make it an incentive where you don't necessarily have to shoot threes. Okay, reward the teams that are playing half court basketball. Reward the teams that want a center down low to be their offensive focus, like Joel Embiid with the Philadelphia 76ers or Cat with the New York Knicks. He's now with the New York Knicks. Okay, reward incentive teams into making it a half court game. When the NBA was a half court game, and it was very interesting. You watch the game from beginning to end, slowing the game down. I think running up and down the court trying to shoot threes, you're breaking a lot of them. Is not entertaining for the fan that's paying good money to watch it live, and it's definitely not a good marketing. It doesn't market very well when people are watching it on television. So slowing down the games, making it a half court game, would do wonders for the ratings. Another thing that would do wonders for the rating is uh, somehow incentive teams to play more defense. Okay, yes, 110 and 109 game that could be entertaining in spurts, but no one wants to watch blowouts. Nobody wants to watch games that are high scoring games every day, all day, on your mama's and on your grandmama's birthday. Okay, so uh, rewarding. I think it's marketable when it's a half court game, but it's even more marketable when they're actually playing defense like it's supposed to be. Emphasize the importance of playing defense. Now, a lot of veterans like LeBron James are not going to be happy with that, but look, theoretically, LeBron James maybe got what, 2 years possibly, and he's retired. Okay, so the NBA have to look at the future. Okay, I know they want to make it an individual game, and they're marketing Zion Williams. This is the next wave of superstars, the Zion Williams and the Luka Doncic and the list goes on and on and on. But uh, what they need to be focusing on is teams. I think they need to go back of marketing teams. And you got the Oklahoma City Thunder, a small market team, and they're very competitive. They may be winning the title, possibly, but that's a team that fans of Oklahoma City and around the world is going to follow from beginning to end. This ain't gonna be said for the Houston Rockets. Technically, Houston is a small market team. Okay, people like to follow teams that have drafted very well, and now they're being very competitive. Okay, the New York Knicks, and it's also great when the league is good. The small market teams are very competitive, but not only that, the big market teams, the traditional big market teams, are very successful. If you look at the Boston Celtics, who have a history of winning titles, that's very marketable. That's, a lot of people are going to go to those games. A lot of people are going to watch those games. When you look at the New York Knicks, traditionally, that is a marketable team. When you look at their tradition and their history, when you look at the Philadelphia 76ers, uh, you know, you know, a blue collar town, okay, that is marketable for the average Joe. That if you can get Paul George and Joel Embiid to actually play, if they're actually playing and they're being very competitive, that's a good team that's marketable. Okay, so and now when and in recent years, it's great when the Lakers and the Boston Celtics are very compatible, and they're getting ready and they're competing throughout the season. And look at the history when Larry Bird and the Boston Celtics and Magic Johnson and the Showtime Lakers, when they were at their apex and they were very competitive and they played from start to finish, that translated well with the ratings. Okay, and now if Boston competitive, the Lakers are struggling, and when the Lakers are competitive, Boston is struggling. So you have to get these big market teams. You have to get them competitive at the same time. It's marketable for the league. These small town teams are very marketable to the NBA. Teams are what make dynasties, and rivalries are a part of that as well. When you got two rivalries, two juggernauts, okay, competing, you may see them, in the NBA Finals. You may see them throughout the season. That rivalries are huge when it comes to television ratings. Okay, the last rivalry I can remember is the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Golden State Warriors. That was a great rivalry. Okay, and if you're a hardcore fan or if you're a casual fan, you enjoyed those games. You enjoyed them through the regular season. You even enjoyed them through the NBA Finals. Okay, so you got to get back of doing that. Okay, yes, it's great to have, uh, you know, superstars or individual players as great marketing tools as well. But the NBA as a whole has been very successful when the teams are very competitive from start to finish. And the traditional teams that have a huge influx of history, when they are competitive, it only makes the game better as a whole. All right. Another thing they need to worry about, they need to do, excuse me, is like the NFL. The NFL got it right. Okay, they start off with the NBA, the NFL draft. Okay, then the NFL free agency. Okay, and then the preseason, then the regular season, then the playoffs, then the Super Bowl, and the NFL with their partnership with the NCAA football. When you look at those players like the Travis Hunters, when you've been following Travis Hunter through the collegiate sport of college football, and when he gets the opportunity to be drafted, so you have superstars in the collegiate field, going to the NFL, and it makes the NFL a year-round event. You're always talking about the NFL year-round. With the NFL, with the NBA, it comes in spurts. Okay, um, you got the NBA draft. That's very interesting. You want to see what players are going to be picked in the NBA draft. Okay, and then at the NBA draft, you have the summer games, and that's a huge fall off. No one's very interested in the summer game, and I may be and these things I'm about to say, I may have them in. I may order them differently, but that's in my mindset right now. Um, when you look at NBA free agency, that's a good thing for the NBA. But when you look at the summer games and when you look at pre games, the exhibition games, it doesn't, there's not a huge following of fans that are interested in the summer games and, being interested in the pre games. Okay. And then when the pre games are, the exhibition games are over with, you got the regular season. We just talked about in the beginning how no one's really very interested or monitoring the NBA, and that's a large part of the NFL. I don't think there's nothing the NBA can do to change that unless you make the NBA season go come later instead of around October when Super Bowl's over with. That's when you start the season with the NBA. I don't think they're going to do that. It's going to. I think they will take a loss in the beginning, knowing full well when football season is over with and when the Super Bowl is over with and they crown a champion on the Super Bowl, everyone's attention will be back on the NBA. So they're going to keep it as status quo. I do feel like the All-Star game, that should be an event at the end of the NBA season, okay? And allow your boy to explain. Okay, so and this is only for the regular season. Everyone is, playing the regular season, and then I think this implement of the tournament play, I think this is a huge plus for the NBA. A lot of people are watching these tournament games, even though the ratings are low. It seems like the fans want the tournament games to go on, and it seems like the players and the teams want the tournament games to go on. And then you take your break, and then right after your break, you start your second half of your regular season, and then you go into the playoffs, and then after the playoffs, you go into the finals, you crown a champion, and like 2 weeks or a week after that, that's when I feel like you should have your all-star game. You should have your all-star game, your three-point contest, your slam dunk, your skills competition. Because I do feel like out of all the big three, when you talk about Major League Baseball, when you talk about the NFL, the NBA does it very well with their all-star weekend. They hit it out of the park when you compare it to the other two big leagues in sports. Okay, so I think you should have that at the end. That's something that casual and hardcore fans would relate to and will continue to watch, and that would build interest in the NBA. And then from there, now you're talking about what players are going to be drafted in the NBA draft from college, and their working relationship with the NBA and college basketball is a great relationship. I wouldn't screw nothing up with that. But after the All-Star game, now you're talking about the potential players from the collegiate game that's going to go to the NBA. You could be doing a lot of pieces on that. Then the NBA draft comes, and then they draft their players. And then after the draft, you have free agency. That's another interesting point of the NBA. And then after that, you have your summer games. The summer games are not that very interesting, particularly because the start of college football. Okay, and then you got uh, your exhibition games. I don't think there's nothing you can theoretically do because college football and pro football is starting at the same time. It's just not on anyone's radar. So I don't think there's really nothing you can do with the preseason. Now, the start of the regular season, there's interest, but there's not a lot of huge interest because of football. And then, so I'm looking at it as from um, preseason to the first part of the NBA season, you're not going to get a lot of interest, and that's due to uh, college football and football. But after college football is over with, after football, Super Bowl is over with, the NBA should be winning these ratings from here on out. Okay, so those are things I would fix. I would fix the fundamentals on how they're playing the game. I would, even if you have to change some rules around or expanding the shot clock or whatever, if you want to go radical that way. But I want to emphasize the importance of having a half court game. When you're playing games at half court, it's very interesting to the fans. Is extremely interested as marketing this game on television. When you're running up and down the court and you're shooting like 3 or 4 threes and there's only 10 seconds or 5 seconds taken off the shot clock, therein lies the problem. So I would emphasize the importance of half court game, playing the game at the half court, and also playing defense. Benefit teams. You might have to change it in the rules, but reward teams that are actually playing defense. Okay, I don't know how you're going to do that, but and this is a copycat league. When you see a couple of teams doing it and they're reaping the rewards, other teams will follow. But right now, everyone's still on that same old blueprint from the Golden State Warriors. Let's just shoot a bunch of threes. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of players on teams that can shoot it very good. But consistently, I don't know, you can shoot 33s and consistently hit 20 of them. It's just theoretically impossible. That's a lot of rebounds to the other team, so or to you, and they hand it back to you and you try to shoot it again, you miss again. Okay. So yeah, that's what I would do. It's up to the commissioner, it's up to the NBA competitive team. These are things I would do to make it very compatible and marketable. The games being marketable for people that's actually going to the games and people that are watching it through these packages. So, guys, tell me what you think. Rate, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. Deuces.